I am happy to be part of this epoch-making conference, which has already been slated to hold in Kigali, in Rwanda.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started into this episode.
Kigali Convention Center is the venue for the event, and it's international conference on business models in agriculture. So the center is on agriculture, and the whole idea was articulated, was inspired by the issue of food security, the issue of food insecurity in developing countries, in the developing economies, and some developed economies as well. How can developing economies learn? How can they take? How can they glean inspiration from the developed countries with respect to food security? And we know that FAO, that's the Food and Agriculture Organization, which is specialized agency under the United Nations, has over time led international efforts to defeat hunger in developing economies, especially in Africa. And of course, the goal has always been food security for all, because food security is a right. And of course, it's geared towards ensuring that people have regular access to enough high quality food and also lead active lives, healthy lives. So that spearheaded the conference, which of course it will hold at the Kigali iconic Convention Center. And we know that Kigali Convention Center is a premium events venue in Rwanda since its opening in 2016, and a hugely popular MICE destination in the East African region. Yeah. So the multifaceted design at the convention center, it has always reflected a true Rwandan homestead. There was an event that happened. I know many Rwandans do not want to hear that event in 1994, but they have recorded very strides in their economic transformation. We also wish to recognize President Kagame, who is championing great initiatives with the stakeholders of the government and the stakeholders of transformation in that region. And of course, so I just want to say that the venue is a very good one.
So thank you very much for that explanation. That is very important for us, both Africans at home and also those in the diaspora. We are very happy to learn that an event such as this is happening in Africa, in Kigali, come 2023. But now somebody might be wondering, what can be the benefit? I mean, what is the benefit of this event that is taking place in March?
The benefit is multifaceted. The benefit is, I've already mentioned the broad benefit, of course, to ensure food security, but how can we encourage the stakeholders of transformation, in our countries, in our nation, because it's not just an African thing. Permit me to talk about the organizers, because I know, because we need to look at the genesis of this conference. I remember when we started to plan this conference, the Africa Organization of Technology in Agriculture. And the president of the event, Isaac Kagara, who with Giselle, um, she has multiple antecedents, about her. And some of us who were in the group, we were just thinking about how to launch out such an initiative which will bring the academia, which will bring researchers, which will bring government, which will bring the private investors, which will bring even Africans in diaspora, and which will bring, the international community and together. And let us look at how to encourage transformation of economies through the agriculture sector. And so, when we started, we yes, we prayed. We also looked at ways where we can be supported, governments of nations, to in because such a beautiful vision. And then the day it was born, I already knew that that baby had been born. Some persons did not understand, but I knew that that child had been born. And we were even happy that the Rwanda Ministry of Agriculture, the Israeli embassy, and that's the Israeli embassy in Rwanda and the Rwandan Convention Bureau. They are very much behind us, and they are they are very ready. And other people who will join, because the conference is still, the planning is still in process, still developing. You can see even that the website is still developing. We are still, we have speakers already, and we are trying to organize the program very well. We have some persons who are working hard in Rwanda, working hard in South Africa, working hard in England, working hard all around the world, even in the US, and even in Asia as well, working hard to see that the event goes properly. So the whole idea, purpose of the event, the benefit is that it will, from the caption of the conference, which is on business models. Let me talk about that business models. Let's take also example with Africa, that Africa has not enjoyed um, the business side of agriculture. And the business side of agriculture has always prospered, has always is always enjoyed in the food value chain. It's always those who add the value. So an agricultural produce or an agricultural product that enjoys that the profits. They are the ones that can make gains. They are the ones that can make more margins. They are, because they are the ones that determine who will patronize that product, who buys that product. Because with all the marketing strategies, the value addition, and all of that. So yeah, we have seen it time and time again that some of the products from that we produce around any country in the developing world has always been sold out very cheaply. And so, and we know that Africa is is comprised majorly of smallholder farmers who are the ones trying to provide food and also to employ people, because there is unemployment. Africa is grappling with poverty issues, with developmental issues, and there is need for job. The youths are yearning. They are yearning for job. They are yearning for a good life. The citizens, the masses, are suffering from hunger. Even in this challenge of hike in prices of food and essential commodities due to the Russia-Ukraine war, due to climate change issues, due to the impact of COVID-19, and also due to the low-cost attack. There are many issues, even war, leadership issues, which are challenging Africa at this moment. So, and we know that Africa is the future. Africa has already been mapped out as a continent. It has been projected that Africa will feed the entire world by the year 2050. So, how can this happen? The business side. So it is time to model. It is time to strategize. It is time that the smallholder farmers will be empowered. It is time. So, because the attendees, those who are, we are on top publicity for this conference. It's all over in the social media now. And we are working as a scientific committee chairman. I am working a lot with universities across within Africa and outside of Africa. And we are working not just with universities, we are working with research institutions, we are working with individuals within this agriculture space to publicize this. Because, of course, we know that Kigali is a very important city in Rwanda. And of course, I told them at the last scientific meeting that we had that we have the backing of Elsevier. We are working with lots of public, those who help to publish our manuscripts, and they turn it into an article, journal articles, and abstracts, conference proceedings, and all of that. So we're working with them, and we're working with a lot of universities, in the University of Rwanda. We're working with River State University. We're working with University of Pretoria. We are working with Stellenbosch. We are working with University of KwaZulu-Natal. Name it. We are working with University of West Indies. We are working with some universities even in Europe. Yeah. So, and and we have we are also working with the University of Ghana. And you can imagine the entire universities across the world. Some other researchers in the US as well. Yeah, so permit me to also talk about looking at what the conference will look like, because especially the scientific committee, because like I will always say that the agriculture sector is broad. It's no longer the way it used to. I know that the major aspect of the agriculture sector touches on crops, livestock, forestry, and fishery, but it's not the usual thing anymore. Remember that that the agriculture sector is advancing with respect to technology. So technology has come, and we are in the advent of technology, and even now in the fourth industrial revolution. So we will definitely look at reimagining the agriculture sector in the fourth industrial revolution era and enhancing research development in Africa, just in Africa, in developing economies. We'll look at transforming of the food and agricultural value chain, and also neglected African nutritious foods. There are some neglected African foods, and also looking at food systems and the African Continental Free Trade Area. And also, we are going to look at a very important aspect of this conference, and that is women in agriculture and the young agripreneurs or agro-entrepreneurs. Yes, it's very important. One thing is that the women, they have been recognized as major players in driving this transformation. And also, we'll look at business projects and models in plantations, open fields. We are also going to look at farm-based programs. There are farm-based programs which are very necessary, which are extension and advisory service networks have been pushing to drive transformation in the agriculture sector. Now, so those farm-based programs in line with agricultural extension and advisory service are very necessary, not just in developing countries, also in developed countries. We have a very formidable network, and we are looking at issues. I've mentioned it on climate change and variability. We are looking at agroforestry subsector and fishery subsector and its contribution in transforming Africa's economy. We are also going to look at models for marketing agricultural produce and to encourage the exportation of products sourced from smallholders. We are also going to look at ways of securing the 5 freedoms for livestock and farmers. And Dr. Nimrod Israeli is my friend. He is a world-class crop scientist. He has done a lot of works in Africa. He's originally Hebraic. And we are working together to ensure he is actually the president for the conference, and I like what he's doing. Also, he's also creating very good visibility, publicity for this conference, and was from the Israeli side. Also, the other members, also Lenny Rukundo, is also Rwandese but based in South Africa. I wouldn't mention too much names. I know that Giselle, I've mentioned her name before. She's been awesome because we started this journey together, and it looks like it wouldn't be, but with Isaac Kagara, who has also kept the fort in trying hard to ensure that this happens and rolls out well. Yeah. So, and the focus is on reorganizing the agro sector from import to export-oriented agro sector and from agriculture to agro-industry. So the international business models in agriculture was actually created to enable an open discussion and sharing of ideas. Knowledge sharing is very important in transforming the global economy. And it's in line with the transformation agenda. So this is actually in the spirit of an open lab and disruptive business models that will allow rapid, significant changes that non-developed economies desperately need. I'm telling you that this conference is in honor of the late Professor Clayton Christensen, who showed how the use of disruptive, innovative models could accelerate how economic development in any industry, including especially the agriculture sector. Yeah. So the participants of this conference, of course, will bring together over, thousands of participants, including national delegations. I've said it before, key stakeholders from around the globe. And then coming to the side of my expertise, because I was captured in the website that I wear many caps. That is true. I'm an advocate with the EU Tech Chamber, European technology chamber, and I am also a roving ambassador with the State of the African Diaspora. I work as a university teacher, and we train university students both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. And I am a senior advisor in a lot of agro initiatives, in Malawi, Rwanda, Zambia, South Africa, even in my country too, Nigeria. And then recently I am always asked to feature. So with my diverse network, and as the chairman of the scientific committee, I am here to bridge the gaps between the academia, the research, the international community, to ensure that transformation is driven for the achievement of long-term sustainable development through knowledge transfer in accordance with the Sustainable Development Goals agenda and the objectives of the Paris Agreement, which is captured in supplementary section 4.
Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. Food is everything. Looking at what is happening in Ukraine, and I think it's the time for Africa to awaken to the responsibility of being able to provide food for themselves. So initiatives like this certainly have come in the right time. Just to conclude the conversation, what do you think the people are going to get out of this conference? That could be the people in Kigali or other Africans who are looking up to this project as a big milestone.
Yeah, thank you for that question. You mentioned about food. It's not just a food thing, but food is, of course, the major life priority need. But what of jobs, creating of jobs? Bringing in the business models into agriculture is like a vehicle. Is like an open door to create jobs, because what the implication of bringing in the business models is to enhance technology, or to ensure that technology is translating into creation of more value, food value chains or agricultural value chains. We know that the agriculture sector contributes also for foreign exchange to an economy. We know that the agriculture sector also is a major contributor to the raw materials for industries. Diverse industries depend on the agriculture sector, because the agriculture sector is primary, is real, and is traditional. So every other sector depends solely on the agriculture sector. And the whole gain in the conference is to, of course, remember that the African Union is also part of the conference. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is ongoing, and the whole legal framework surrounds business. And of course, this will create a strong and formidable outcomes. I strongly believe that. And sensitization. And, of course, with all the researches from our institution, because we will start receiving abstracts, and for either full-length paper presentation, publication of those ones that are quite scholarly. And then we will also have poster presentations as well. And of course, there will be some payments for that as well. Yeah. And at the end of the conference, attendees and those who participated in, maybe virtually, because, we will likely create that avenue where attendees, and it will also be, aired online, and it will have a link so that persons who attend will gain the knowledge, will also gain information, will also know that this type of model can help farmers, can help smallholder farmers, can work, and also know where they they have made mistakes, because remember that some governments, some stakeholders have made mistakes. They have taken agriculture um, for for a ride. They are not taking it seriously, and that's why um, so many economies that are developing have not done well, because it's in principle that the agriculture sector of developing countries can, is a veritable space to um, ensure, of course, its contribution to the GDP, and of course, if that contribution to the GDP will trickle down to quality of life, like changing the employment stories or employment history jobs, and then ensuring for healthcare delivery, bringing in more food, of course, for the four pillars of food security to be actualized in those nations where there is no food, and also, you know, uh, um, bringing about more infrastructure. So if it trickles down, that is economic growth, trickling down to economic development, then, and of course, sustainability. What is left is smiles on people's faces, and then also trying to providing job. I put it before, so that our youth will be will not put their hands in social vices. These issues of insurgency, to kill insurgency, it's a very big challenge. It's a very big challenge in some places here, because when our the energy in our youths and youngsters will be properly channeled, what it will bring about a balanced society, a society where people are enjoying their life. They can go out in the night also, not just in the day, because maybe immediately it gets to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., people are running to get to their houses. So, and we need to develop a formidable plan how, before we used to have persons, homes having their gardens at the back. These days, people don't have their gardens again, and it's really challenging. It's really a challenging situation that people just depend on the outside food, go to the market and buy, and there's no home garden. But in developed societies, they have their gardens at the back, even though they are developed. So why can't we, in the developing countries, Africa, Asia, and South America, and even some developed countries as well, because even in the UK, here in the UK, there's a program that they are now doing for the youngsters to paint a good picture of agriculture, because they discovered that they are gradually getting cold.
So, what would be your conclusion to terminate this conversation? A kind of a message to lead to the people that are watching us.
My last message is that we should publicize this event. We should prepare for action. Preparation is very good. It's very necessary. It's very relevant. Preparation is what we need to embark on before we can create a change. Because what we are clamoring for, what people are clamoring for. It's a change. Change. Countries, nations are yearning for change. In Cameroon, in Kenya, they are conducting elections. In most of the African countries, elections here and there. We heard what happened in Sri Lanka the other day. And we, what is going on even in West Africa, in the giant of Africa, Nigeria. So people are clamoring for change. So we need to plan, we need to prepare. Because if we have not planned, we know the whole idea is that the person has planned to fail. So this conference is not business as usual. It's not it's not the type of conference that people should just come and just go, and things will remain the same. So we need to be, this conference is like a conference of intentionality. We must be we must be, have every form of preparation. We must have every form of being completely sold out to preparation, planning, and strategizing, because it will also be open to business, to people in businesses, even people who are practicing some little agriculture, people who want to come into the agriculture space. So it's really, really open. We have a lot of persons who have been writing. They have seen the link on LinkedIn. They have found it online and they are writing. There's a lady, she's also from Rwanda. She lives in Netherlands. She has indicated interest. Lots of people, I'm telling you, they are writing. And not just me, they are also contacting Dr. Nimrod, contacting Chief Bosa, contacting other persons within.
Thank you so much for that. That'll be interesting. I appreciate that. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewafo. Thank you so much for listening, and talk to you in the next episode.